Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
To learn the Yoruba language, we have to start all the way from the beginning. So the 25 letters of the Yoruba alphabet. Nínú èdè Yoruba, a ní alphabeti márùndínlọ́gbọ̀n, meaning in the Yoruba language, we have 25 letters of the alphabet. I'm going to start off reading them slow so you can follow along. A, B, D, E, F, G, B, E, G, K, L, M, N, O, P, R, C, Sh, T, U, W, Y. If you think you got it, let's speed it up a bit. A, B, D, E, F, G, B, E, G, K, L, M, N, O, P, R, C, Sh, T, U, W, Y. As you can tell, the Yoruba alphabet is one letter less than the English alphabet. And also, there are 5 alphabets in the English alphabet that just doesn't exist in the Yoruba alphabet. Nothing in Yoruba has the following alphabets in them. C, X, Z, V, Q. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's those 5. Hence being replaced by E, O, Sh, B. Now that we've treated the 25 letters of the Yoruba alphabet, we're going to be talking about vowels now. We're going to treat consonants in another video. The Yoruba language has 12 vowels in total, 7 oral vowels and 5 nasal vowels. Aromupe, from your nose. Afomupe, from your voice. A, E, I, O, U. 7 oral vowels. I, O, 5 nasal vowels. Let's run it together slowly, starting with the oral vowels. A, I, O, U. Again. A, I, O, U. One more time. A, I, O, U. Nasal vowels. I, O, U. I know this shit looks funny as fuck. I'm gonna give you an example, a complete sentence, so we can break it down. O le bímọ fún owó labí. O, oral vowel. Le, predicate. Bímọ fún, consonant, predicate, nasal vowel. Fún, owó labí, your subject. I hope it's making a little bit more sense and it's not complicated. While I finish my skincare, let's go over everything we've learned today. How many letters are in the Yoruba alphabet? Márùndínlọ́gbọ̀n, ding, ding, ding. How many vowels do we have in the Yoruba language? 12, méjìlá, good job. How many oral vowels do we have? 7, good job, méje. How many nasal vowels do we have? Márùn, 5. How do we say nasal vowel in Yoruba? Aromupe. How do we say oral vowel in Yoruba? Afohunpe. Now that we've gotten the technical stuff out of the way, let's go over the alphabet and the vowels. On the count of 1, 2, 3, we will go over the alphabet first. 1, 2, 3, go. A, B, D, E, F, G, B, E, G, K, L, M, N, O, P, R, C, Sh, T, U, W, Y. On the count of 1, 2, 3 for oral vowels. 1, 2, 3, go. A, I, O, U. On the count of 1, 2, 3 for nasal vowels. 1, 2, 3. And that wraps up today's lesson. If you enjoyed this video, you can go ahead and leave a comment down below and I will keep on coming.
Somebody might say, it's just a language. Maybe people are learning French, people are learning Spanish. Yes, it is just a language until you realize that the knowledge your ancestors handed over to you was handed to you in your native language. And you will not be able to understand it and research it if you do not have that native language. Thank you. You will not be able to access it. Now, we have Yoruba people. I have Yoruba people that come to me. I do a fact divination for them. I record it in Yoruba. I still have to interpret it in English. And you know the sad part of it? Excuse me. while we are interpreting or translating to English, a lot of knowledge is lost because English does not have the depth and the vocabulary to be able to translate and do justice to Yoruba language. Most of the words that are in Yoruba language is descriptive. Yoruba is a descriptive language. Most ancient languages are descriptive. So if you want to translate it to English, you need to describe, meaning that if you have 3 sentences, 3-line sentences of Yoruba, to translate that sentence accurately in English, you need 3 foolscap sheets, 3 A4 papers, because you have to describe. But when you understand Yoruba, it comes to you as just one word, one sentence, and you already understand what it says. But English requires you to describe an entire page to be able to understand it. But yet, they just narrow it down and pick a word to replace it, thereby losing context, losing meaning, losing understanding. And you think they did something good for us by giving us that language. Let me explain something to you. I do not have a problem with you learning new languages. Learn as many. There is diversity. Yoruba language is not the language of the world. So if you want to interact with the rest of the world, you need to learn their language. That's okay. But when it was given to you by people that don't like you and subtly made to replace, they brought it to replace our local languages because nobody teaches you with Yoruba in school. In fact, while I was growing up in school, it was an offense to speak Yoruba language. It was called vernacular. And when you speak it, your teacher will cane you like you stole money. How did you think we got to that point? These are the things we are fighting for. I'm not saying don't learn English. I'm not saying don't learn Spanish, French, whatever it is. I'm saying it is not a replacement for your local language. I'm saying that your local language is the only thing that gives you that depth of knowledge. And they brought this as a replacement for it. They didn't bring English as an additional language. No. They brought English as a replacement for it, especially to Nigeria, to Ghana. They said we have one, what do they call it? Our lingua franca. Is that what it's called? National language. They said the excuse was because we had different languages, different dialect, different tribe. So we have to hold on to one. And that one had to be a foreign one. That one had to be one that does not fully explain my own language. That makes me lose understanding and meaning of things. When you want to cheat a person is when you start to speak words like hitherto, paraventure, thereafter, ole lo fe ja iro lo fe pa, to ba fe sọ̀rọ̀. Speak what you and I understand. When they wanted to deceive people was when they brought big grammar, because you don't understand it. You cannot fully, it does not fully explain it. It's like you asking somebody, pick one. Do you love this or not? Yes or no? Yes or no answer does not fully explain. No, they will just tell you it is when people want to box you up into something. That's when they give you yes or no as option, because they know it doesn't give you room to explain. And the moment you say no, they can interpret that no into so many things. I had a student say they gave our ancestors here in the diaspora the religion as a punishment. Oh, trust me, it is. That's what they did with language. Imagine so many Yoruba words that don't have English interpretation. Take, for instance, let me explain this part. We have the word called itefa, right? Itefa is a word that cannot, it doesn't have another English word to genuinely interpret it or replace it. Itefa is an, if I want to describe Itefa to an Englishman, I have to explain it. But when I say Itefa to a Yoruba person, the person already has that whole explanation in their head. Now, English interprets it as initiation. Do you know why it is interpreted as initiation? Because the moment it comes to religion and spirituality, when people say initiation, it connotes a negative thing. You start to think of cult initiation. You start to think of blood covenant. You start to think of soul tie. That word already has roots in religious organizations. And then they use that word to describe Itefa. So when you tell an average person, oh, Ifa initiation, the person, I don't want to be initiated into anything. Itefa is not Ifa initiation. Itefa is Itefa. You can pronounce it. It's Itefa. Just say what it is. And then you would explain what it means. A lot of these things, they come with words. Deity. Orisha. Orisha has a meaning. He has explanation. Explain it. Orisha. I want to Orisha. Ori lo shawọn. What is Ori? Ori is your own Eleda, your own personal creator. Ori shawọn. Àyànmọ́ ló ṣàwọn pé kó wá ṣe nǹkan tó yàtọ̀ nílé ayé. Wọ́n ṣàwọn ni. Every generation has Orisha. Wọ́n láwọn tí Orisha ní every generation. It is not small gods. Excuse me, why do you need to force an idea of a big God and a small God on us? It doesn't exist here. But we will go to the English meaning first before we come to the Yoruba meaning. Itefa is the highest form of rebirthing that Yoruba people have as a gift to humanity. Thank you very much for that. It does not fully explain it. But they know that the moment you connect, the moment you teach your children Yoruba language, and you yourself understand Yoruba language, and you can read it and write it, when words are coming off in tradition, you understand what they mean. If I understand Yoruba language very well, there are so many English words that I cannot fall for. I cannot fall for the idea of traditionalists are worshiping small gods. If God means divine and supreme being, I already know that in my own culture, we don't have big Olodumare and small Olodumare. If that is what it means, you cannot sell the idea of a small God to me. I cannot fall for it because it doesn't make any meaning in my language. You see why? You see why? How can you study Ifa when you don't understand Yoruba language? How can you? You see those things that they sold? They will tell you that incantation is demonic. Do you know why you fell for the idea that incantation is demonic? Because you don't understand Yoruba. Because if you understand Yoruba and you hear the Yoruba words they are speaking, you will know the meaning. And you'll be able to ask yourself, everything this Baba just said now, there is nothing in it that sounds demonic or satanic. Oh, he's just speaking words. Oh. He's just saying because this is this is this. Like a lawyer that goes to defend his client and says he's bringing up precedents. Oh, in the case of Johnson versus the states in 1914, I present this, and they start talking and they start to quote different things. That's the same way it is. Oh. When they are speaking and they say tissue, okay, if I look at you now as a Yoruba person that doesn't understand Yoruba, and I hold this thing and I say tissue ba parada adiyan, akamu ba parada adogi, ti ewe ba parada adi. Once I start to say that, you don't understand what I say. As far as you are concerned, it's incantation and it's demonic. Wọ́n ní tissue ba parada adiyan. meaning that if yam changes form, it becomes pounded yam. Tí àkàmú bá parada, á di ògì, meaning that if millet changes form, it becomes pap. In those two sentences, what is demonic in those two sentences I just made now? But because I said it in Yoruba and I was shaking this thing that you don't know what it means, it has become incantation and it's demonic. You see what they did to you? You see what they did to you? Never go there. Meanwhile, that the same people that sold speaking in tongues, and you buy it. You buy into speaking in tongues. Somebody on my timeline, one of my friends, he made a poster the other day, this Saturday, yesterday. They are having 8 hours of praying in the Holy Ghost, and he called it times of refreshing. 8 solid hours of blabbing in a language you don't understand, of speaking a language that doesn't even exist. The people that brought it said that other people heard their languages. We are in a global village now. People can make video now and somebody in China and Australia will see. Till today, we still haven't found somebody in Australia, in China, in Japan, in Korea, in wherever it is, that heard a Nigerian pastor speaking in tongues and say, that's our native language. Nobody has found it. Yet they presented that to you, and then they now told you that when people are speaking poetic words in Yoruba language is demonic. They did that to you because they have already told you that your language itself is demonic, and you bought the idea and you are selling it with pride. You hear people speak English with their native language. A German will speak English, and it's okay for him to speak English as a German, and you hear that when you hear him speak English, you can tell that he's German, he's Italian, he's Spanish, he's French. But the moment an Igbo man speaks English, his English is too Igbotic. Yes, because he's Igbo. What is wrong with it? If you allowed him to speak Igbo, trust me, he will speak that one first. That's the one that is native to him. That's the language of where he comes from. It's like I learned French now and I start to speak French in a funny way. I pronounce French words as an English speaking person. And somebody is upset about that. I'm not a native French speaking person. I wasn't born there. I wasn't raised there. I learned it as a second language. But for most of us, English is our first language now. And then after English, we are learning in schools now. We are learning French. People are learning by virtue of K-drama, people's third language. An average Nigerian girl now that is a K-pop fan, her first language is English. Her second language is Korean. Yoruba is on number 5 because she has also learned French and Spanish. These are the things that we are fighting. These are the things that was wrong, from the religion to the education to your lifestyle. There are so many Odrifas that will tell us that this river is sacred. You are forbidden from going to bath there, from going to poop there, from going to, you think it is all spirituality. It is helping us to take care of our environment. It is lifestyle, helping us to take care of our environment. When our people sold the idea of virgins, when we create sacredness around the idea of virgins, it's not because it is a sin when you sleep with somebody before you get married to them. It's because we are protecting underage and underexperienced children from engaging in something that could change the course of their life. That is our tradition. is not about sin. You can do with your body whatever it is that you want. There is no Odrifa that talks about somebody, especially for people that are not married. People that are married, yes, Odrifa talks about adultery. But for two unmarried people, me, I have not seen. I don't know if you have seen any that says that some two unmarried people were engaging in intimacy, adults. And Odrifa says because of that, something bad happened to them. Odrifa clearly points out adultery. Why? Because it is something that you are doing against the will of your partner, that you guys are together. You guys came together to agree on a monogamous relationship. Then you went behind their back to betray them. If I treat it as a form of betrayal, as a single man and a single woman, that you are using your body for whatever it is that you find. I'm still learning, so anybody that has an SFA that says that two people were engaged, two adults were engaged in consensual, two single adults were engaged in consensual intimacy, and if I says he was going to punish them, Olodumare said he was going to punish them because of that, I want to see. It doesn't have anything to do with whether you are going to heaven or not. It has everything to do with what intimacy represents spiritually and the age at which you are supposed to be involved in it. If you have not listened to my video where I talked about what does intimacy represent spiritually, please go to YouTube. The YouTube channel is Iyanifa Ewa TV on YouTube. Go and find out what Ifa has to say about intimacy between male and female and what it represents. It doesn't have anything to do with sin. It has everything to do with bond and the exchange of spirits and destinies that take place there. So when our people are encouraging virginity in both male and female, they are encouraging, first of all, they don't want you to get involved with unwanted pregnancy. Because intimate, unprotected intimacy can produce it. They are not expecting you to start to pop babies into this world that you don't plan for. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. Secondly, because we understand in our spirituality that intimacy between male and female, it's a union of destinies. We encourage that people go into it at a time when they understand what destiny means. When they have checked and they have found that this is the person that aligns with my destiny, then I can share destiny with this person. That's what it is. It's not religion that brought that. And religion that told you that is a sin, how is it doing? The way Christianity and Islam preaches fornication, you will have, with the number of people that are following those religions, morally, life would have been better. So my husband and I were having a conversation a couple of days ago, and I'm asking, you know how people travel to Western world, like you and I, we travel to Western world to go and have our children in America, for example, so that we can get citizenship by birth for them. You know how parents look at their children and they say, this child is becoming, is not having sense, he's not learning things, and they send the child back home to Africa so that it can have sense, so that they can train the child. Please keep tapping on your screen. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever heard of that before? I mean, it might not have been your personal experience, but have you ever heard of situations where people give birth to children abroad, bring them back to Nigeria or to any part of Africa where they were born and raised, for them to be raised right? Emphasis on raised well and raised right. Then when that child is of age, maybe 16 or something, they can return the child back abroad. Have you heard of such cases? Now, when they return that child back to Africa to learn, to understand morals, to understand the values of life, where do you think they are returning that child back to? To culture and tradition, to Isheshe. If religion could do it, is there no church in the country where you people are? Is that not where they brought church from? Why don't you sit your child down in church and say, church will teach this child the morals that they need to know? Why are they sending those children back home to Africa to learn sense, to learn what life is? Why do they think that that child would have better moral upbringing in their home country in Africa than in the West? Why are they not putting the children in church? Why don't people say, I will send you to Bible school so that you can learn what life is? No. They send those children back to culture, to roots, to tradition. Exactly. When you need what is right, you know where to take them to. I birthed my kids in the US. I didn't raise them there. I cannot. The year I left was the year that I heard that the use of drugs has become legal in the states where I was. I knew I cannot do this. As a single mom, I couldn't do it. It's not possible. I could not do it. I brought my children back to Africa. I brought my children back to Nigeria. And so did a lot. And a lot of people who raise their children abroad, the first thing you say to them is, even you will tell your children that, if it's my mother that raised you, you think if you are in Nigeria, you'll be able to do this. When we say that to them, we say it because they are doing things that are not right. But yet, we take them to church on Sunday, don't we? Why didn't church instill that thing? Why is our reference to morality, our reference to good standard of life always Africa? Why is it not the Western world? Exactly. These are the things that we are fighting for. When we are proclaiming Ifa and pushing Ifa like this, these are the things that we are pushing for. Stand this, that have this as a foundational and background understanding, so that when they get to interact with life, they are coming from a place of this knowledge and this interaction. They have this. We are not saying, oh, we are not traveling to the West again, we are not speaking English again, we are not wearing Western clothes again. We are not saying that. We are saying we are going to be doing these things from a place of understanding of our own roots. These are the things about Ifa that you never knew. So the next time you are fighting an Ifa priest and trying to prove that your religion is better, understand the fact that an Ifa priest does not represent a religion. An Ifa priest does not represent a religion. An Ifa priest represents education, represents technology, represents traditional medicine, represents language, culture, tradition, food, healthy living, and every other wonderful thing that comes with our life. That is what we are fighting for. So for those of you that have asked me before and are asking me again, what's the essence of this Ifa college? If you learn it, what are you going to become? These are the things that you are going to learn, and these are the things that you are going to become. This is what we are fighting for. So the knowledge, this is the reason we want Ifa to be taught in schools. This is the reason we want them to give us a fair playing ground. This is the reason, this and many more. This is why we are encouraging everybody to go back to their roots, not because of religion. Ifa has not commissioned anybody to go into all the world and preach the gospel and build a church and fill it up. No. So trust me, for pastors and preachers and imams and whatever it is that you're called, and you think that all this teaching on Ifa is coming to take away from your church. If what you are teaching your people is the truth, you are not scared that they are going to leave. They are adults. Some of them have been there for 30 years. You think somebody will know the truth for 30 years and will fall for a lie? Not exactly. Even if they deceive him, the moment he finds out, he will leave. So if you guys are so sure that what you are teaching is the truth, then what is the fear? What are you afraid of? What you are afraid of is that people will find out what the truth is. They will start to question so many things that they have been brainwashed about. People will receive the courage to ask you people questions because you are hiding under touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. Don't question the man of God. You don't know the things that God taught. Remove that clause. Give people the create an enabling environment for people to question you, to challenge all of these things. And look at how many people are there. Let them remove the clause of hellfire. That imaginary hellfire that they created to put fear into people's life. Let them remove the clause of hellfire and see what is happening. And see how people will let people choose it out of free will based on knowledge. Let them return back to their roots and examine what it looks like, and let's see if they will still choose all of these things. Look at people now.
Okay, gbogbo wa nílé lóko lẹ́yìn òdì mo kí wá ipa kó bójú ọjọ́ ṣe rí mo rò pé gbogbo wa láti rí èyí tá gbé wá lọ́jọ́ títí òní ní comment section. Ojú tẹ̀yin bá fi wò ó bó bá ṣe rí lọ́dọ̀ títí yín ẹ bá wọn fílẹ̀ nínú comment section. Èèyàn kan ò kí ń jẹ́ àwádé, àwa ti ṣe àkójọpọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bá ṣe ń ṣe lórí ìkànnì wa. A ti ṣe àkójọpọ̀ ẹ̀ wá fún yín, ó wá kù kí ẹ̀yin kí ẹ sọ ojú wo lẹ fi wò lọ́dọ̀ títí yín. Ẹ má gbàgbé láti bá wa share, ẹ má gbàgbé láti bá wa fi comment tì yín sílẹ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ nígbà àkọ́kọ́ ẹ má gbàgbé láti subscribe. Mo kí yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ire lójú owó rí. Ire o. One love. Bye for now.